Okay, so the question is when did you discover that what you were doing was not working? You had to change your reality map of how you guide your life and find a different way. And what happened? Um, I'm going to ask Jody first, and then after that, any of you who would like to go next, just signal us and let us know. So Jody, what do you say?
Um, I have a comment on the conversation that I've just heard, and I'm really inspired and excited about the work Kunal is doing. Kudos to you. It's absolutely brilliant the way you make um, the world more connected in bringing science and reality together with situations like the video we just saw. In the conversation when Arya was describing what doing research meant in his time with the library card and going, and what research means to my 17-year-old son who looks up things on Google in a few minutes and has done research already. I'm sort of in the middle. And in my role as an academic, I've been pushing for multimedia case studies in the classrooms that I teach in. So I heard you say you're going to change the website and say, instead of doing research in 10 minutes, do a plan for what you will research in 10 minutes. And I think that might, I have a suggestion for an alternative way. Instead of calling, yes, research can be done in 10 minutes, but it's not the same research that you, me, or Arya might have been trained by our teachers to call research. So you can just say, ask Uncle Google in 10 minutes what they, whatever question they're addressing, because it's not really research in the traditional sense of the word, but for the new generation, because they have access to so much more information, it is engagement. And rather than bogging them down with the old method of, make a plan for research and then go and do research, you will lose them. Elementary school, middle school kids, attention span is small enough that 10 minutes is pretty good. And hands-on, looking on Wikipedia, Google, you can refer them to a few reliable sites so they know to distinguish good websites from the not so good information. But those 10 minutes are valuable enough hands-on activity to not be wasted just planning. So if you are making the changes, I recommend, instead of calling it research or plan to do research, just say something. You need new language. And I don't know if the new language is ask Uncle Google, because Uncle Google may not be around forever. But something similar to that would be the best way to describe that activity that you have for them. And keep up the good work. I am glad that your girlfriend dumped you. My personal journey involves, similar thing. I was going to be a stay-at-home mom till my husband at the time decided he was not interested in being a parent and left. So I had to go back and work, and which was brilliant, because now I have this whole new professional life, which I would have not had if he hadn't walked out on the marriage. So in hindsight, it works out. Thank you for sharing that. Good luck.
Thank you, Jyoti. For those of you who don't know, Jyoti is a professor in a business graduate school of business administration. And thank you for sharing that with us, Jyoti, your viewpoint. Who would like to go next? Oh, Libby, okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's better for me to go than to sit and wait and get nervous about what I want to say. I would say about your girlfriend dumping you. You do not know, she does not know what she's missed out on. So anyway, her loss is all I have to say. I think your story is beautiful, and you are a man who really looked inner, and you were true to yourself and true to your heart. And I think that's one of our biggest challenges today, the world that we live in. we gauge our happiness, our so-called happiness, and our success on how much money we have, how far we rise in the world, in our business, or whatever it is we're doing. And sadly, I think there are a lot of people walking around who are deeply unhappy and miserable, and there's a lot of drugs and alcohol that kind of says that people are numbing themselves. And good for you to model for other people, other young people in their 20s and 30s and 40s, that if you are true to your path, there's a lot of creativity in there. And to me, that's the part of your story that is so totally inspiring and excellent, and exactly what we need to pass along to the younger people today. We're being challenged in the world today because we're using so many resources, and we're going to be fighting over those resources in the future. And if we have a better understanding about our interdependency and where it all comes from, we're going to get along a lot better. And I think that's what you're teaching. So you're a total inspiration, and you're good looking, and somebody out there is waiting for you. Sure. So thank you so much for what you do. I love it.
Thank you,
I
Libby.
just have to say I am going to leave at 10:20. I usually do on Sunday morning because I have a class at 10:30. So
Okay, thank you, Libby.
so much.
Ofu, I see that you've joined us. Welcome. It seems like we're keep having this mismatch on time zones. I don't know. How do we do this? Maybe, Len, you can help us think through how to make sure to get the time zones right in our communication between.
How long the circle started?
It started almost an hour ago.
An hour ago.
Yeah.
That's correct. I fixed to be on. I fixed to be connected by 16-hour GMT Abidjan here, but I have a little constraint before coming. I have a meeting that I have to attend for a few 30 minutes before joining. So that is why I
see.
connected late. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so our Africa-U.S. communication is okay. Oh, that's good. Ofu, very welcome.
Thank you, Lynn and Libby. Glad to see you.
We just had a conversation with Kunal about his personal story and the work that he's doing to create an online science school, and we're having some comments about that. The question is, he had to change course in his life. And so the question is, for anyone who would like to answer it that way, when was a time in your life where you were going in a direction that wasn't working and you realized and had to change course? Okay, who would like to go next? Who? Oh, okay, Matt, yeah.
Firstly, Kunal, it's a pleasure to hold this virtual circle with you. I'm hoping that somewhere on your website there's a way of making contact with you, because I have a number of questions specifically about the work that you're doing and possibly how it can help me help the people that I'm interacting with. But that's not the question that's been asked. Is for me, REA, that's a very long story over many, many years. As I don't know whether or not this is the same for anyone. I only ever speak from my own experience, but what you're asking to me strikes me as, Matt, when was your spiritual awakening? Because that's really, for me, major life changes for myself happened when I realized that doing things just for myself was not satisfying enough, and a slow dawning realization that actually being in the service of others in fact, creates way more joy personally than not. There are so many roads that led to where I am now, and also living a life of service. I guess for me, one of the standout moments was nearly 10 years ago when I volunteered for Karma Kitchen in Berkeley. I've started quite a number of companies, helped start a number of companies from Silicon Valley. So I'm from a high-tech startup background myself, and I don't know how I even found Karma Kitchen, but I came across it and thought, oh, that looks kind of interesting. So meeting the people there, and then that was just a slow realization that to try and investigate different ways of doing things, the whole idea, I'm sure you're familiar with service space, that whole thought about the gift economy and how to run your life and your work and everything that you do in a way that seems contrary to the way that the world is running and contrary to the way that actually in education people are driven. I'm very passionate about education as a way out of poverty, but unfortunately, I think the way that the world is educated, by and large, is focused on the wrong things. And it's through the work like yourself, Kunal, that you're doing. Hopefully, you can share a different message. I think I've had my 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matt. I look forward to learning more about your story, and maybe we can snag you as a first speaker sometime in the, in the not too distant future, from Silicon Valley to Peru.
Yeah.
All right. Who would like to go next? Oh, Zhao. Okay. Will you unmute yourself? There you go.
I'm very inspired by Kunal. I came to the US in my mid-20s. I also had a similar experience, wanted to work for big companies and make money because my upbringing was kind of Chinese peasants. I always wanted to get out of the situation. So I was so bored into the old system. I really want to climb the social ladders. But my journey was so painfully slow. I didn't know. I right now I begin to have a little bit idea what I want to do. Eventually, I want to go back to China, where I came from, because that would be a good completion for my life. So I'm so resonant with Kunal's journey, and I'm so inspired by he just like manifests his ideal and just find that path to serve all the kids in school. So I still have that fear and the doubt in my head, like if I go to China, how can I start, the everything. So so I think every time, I just keep going. I feel it is happening, and I don't know when and how, but I know why. Thank you.
Thank you, Zhao. Is this a wonderful conversation or what? Huh? Who's next? I'm going to call on people if no one volunteers. Hey, Vishesh, how about you?
Okay. It's so funny, Kunal, because I was always a strange kid in the sense that I liked learning. And I wish that I didn't have to say that I was strange, but it was the truth. So what happened was when I was 7, my mom said that she kind of knew that I liked learning things, but when you're 7, who knows, right? So I discovered this website called BrainPop, and you should look it up too. And these guys just made cartoon videos about all kinds of stuff to explain how the world works. And so I would come back from school and I would just, because I was in 2nd grade, I was in public school and I was bored out of my mind. So my teacher suggested this website to me so I could just like not be bored all the time. And I just like watch like I don't know how many videos. Like I finished BrainPop, like, and it's a lot of videos on BrainPop. I mean, they have more now than they used to, but still. And I guess it's just like so amazing to see that you are channeling that same thing. I mean, there's learning, and then there's just this interesting way of unfolding the world's mysteries to somebody. And you're definitely in the latter category, right? And so it's so interesting you ask about reinventing yourself, because as you know, I've been telling you, I'm trying to switch out of computer science as well. It's like the black hole we all get sucked into for a while and then try to leave. It's kind of difficult. So I guess I'm in the process more than I have reinvented myself.